Corey Lajoie, it's getting hard to root for him, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, I want to like him, but it just seems like every week he's in these controversies with people, and it's always his fault. Now, I'll say this: Kyle Busch is not completely innocent in this. He did block him to the infield, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that's Kyle Busch's prerogative. I mean, if he wants to do that, he can do that. But you've got to take a little bit of responsibility if you're Kyle Busch here. Like, hey, if I didn't block him to the infield, I'm probably not getting wrecked there. However, it's still Corey Lajoie's fault, and I still blame him for the wreck. I mean, yes, you got blocked to the infield, but turning back up the track and essentially right-hooking him. I don't think he right-hooked him on purpose, but I do think he meant to get into him because results are what matter, not intentions. And what resulted was Kyle Busch getting hooked into the infield and sliding back up and taking out 4 or 5 cars. And when you're Corey Lajoie, I mean, is 25th that important? Because that's what they were racing for. They were racing for.
Well, they were like near the top 15 because that's the strategy.
Sure. 15th, 25th, not a big difference there. You're not going to make the playoffs on points anyway, so What are you doing? And, I get it. I've been there in iRacing, and I know I say this every time I reference iRacing. I know it's not the same. I know it's not the Cup Series. I'm not saying that it is, but, I've been there, being blocked to the infield for no fucking reason, and I've been frustrated, but you can't right hook a guy into the infield whether you mean to or not. You just can't do it. And, that's why Corey Lajoie is to blame for this. But, I understand the frustration. I think he should be given a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt than he's getting. I don't think it was dirty. I don't think he needs to be suspended. I don't think he needs to be fined. I think it was just, a misjudgment and a bad decision that he made. And I think the worst of it is actually his interview afterwards saying that Kyle Busch blocked him twice, which is 100% obvious looking at the in-car. He was only blocked once. Now, it was a super egregious block. I mean, it was super, super aggressive by Kyle's part, but it's Kyle Busch's right. NASCAR doesn't have an anti-blocking rule like a lot of open wheel series do and a lot of other series do. If Kyle Busch wants to block him, he can block him. And then whatever Corey Lajoie does to him past that is whatever Corey Lajoie does to him. And that's what happened. Corey Lajoie overreacted to Kyle Busch blocking him and then got out of the car and gave I'm going to try to mitigate this to make it look like I didn't wreck him on purpose so we don't get fined. That's what I think his interview was to try to just kind of mitigate that. But I think the interview was dumb by Corey saying that he blocked him twice because it's super obvious that he didn't. And then I think his crew chief saying he got what he deserves is a terrible look because that makes it look like he did it on purpose, even if he didn't. So I don't know for sure Corey didn't do it on purpose, but, giving him the benefit of the doubt here, there are mitigating circumstances such as, Kyle Busch getting on the chip and all that. So dumb move, but I don't think it, really takes, the cake for dumb moves or anything like that. Just something to learn from.
I kind of think two things can be true in this situation because I don't really think Kyle Busch's block was egregious. Like, he moved down barely. Like, he didn't even go way down like we've seen other drivers like Alex Bowman do in the past. Like, the truck guys do all the fucking time and on restarts and stuff at intermediate tracks and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't even close to that. Like, Kyle moved down about a couple feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. I mean, it wasn't that much. And Corey went, he stayed down the inside, but eventually he has to come back up, and I get that. And, Kyle hit the chip there, but if you see, he really didn't lose hardly any momentum from the 14 because the 14 was in front of the 8, and he hardly lost any momentum. The 7 still kind of makes that misjudgment and turns the 8 up into the field. At the end of the day, I think this was just kind of a racing incident, kind of get blown up out of proportion because it's Kyle Busch who's having the worst year of his career, and Corey Lajoie is having a bad season compared to his teammates and what people expected out of that 7 car. I mean, hell, Dale Jr. had him in the playoffs this year, and that definitely don't seem like that's going to happen for the 7 team unless he wins the race. And the only race I see him winning is Daytona, and just off sheer luck. But I think it's kind of blown out of proportion. You know, I put most of the blame on Corey, but it wasn't nothing egregious. I just, you know, Corey dug himself a hole with his interview and his crew chief. If Corey comes on the radio after that wreck happens, like, man, I'm sorry. I thought I was clear. Date was clear of me. I was trying to get back up on the track. I turned to my bad. Tell those guys I'm sorry. This wouldn't even be an issue. Like, yeah, people probably still talk about it, like Corey LaJoie. Oh my God, he wrecked Kyle Busch because he fucking sucks or whatever, stuff like that. But at least people wouldn't be saying it was intentional. People are now still saying that Corey is intentionally did this to Kyle because he blocked him. And like I said, the block from Kyle Busch was not that bad. I've seen way worse blocks. You know, that's just a restart at Pocono. And, hey, give Corey the credit, man. He got a hell of a restart. So, hey, Corey LaJoie did one thing right all day, and that was get a good restart there because he got a hell of a restart, being able to make that move in the first place. But I just think it's kind of a non-issue. You know, I remember back in 2020 at Darlington when Kyle Busch misjudged getting back in line and turned Chase Elliott into the wall. And I was furious at that situation. And Kyle, after the race, was like, yeah, my bad. You know, I didn't mean to do it. You know, it didn't really help the situation, you know, in the moment, but at least people weren't saying Kyle Busch did that on purpose. People were like, yeah, Kyle Busch fucked up. You know, it happens. Probably took out the best car in the race. But, you know, it wouldn't be as a big of an issue as it is right now. And plus, Corey has had some incidents like this the past couple of years, too. He's underperforming from his teammates, his rookie teammate. Hell, his other rookie teammate, Zane Smith, is starting to pick up pace now. At 71, he qualified top 10 this week, finished second at Nashville a couple weeks ago. 71 is starting to build some momentum. So, you know, Corey's looking bad compared to his teammates and what people expected from him. And I think all of this just piled on to each other, and it just made it way more of a big deal than it needed to be. You know, I put most of the blame on Corey, pretty much all the blame on Corey. It happens, but he definitely should not have been suspended. Or maybe I could see a small fine, but that's just that's aggressive racing, and you don't want to fine somebody for being aggressive on a restart because if you do that, then you open up a Pandora's box of problems in the future.
The only time that anybody should ever be suspended, and you're probably going to think that this is just a personal attack, but the only time that anybody should ever be suspended is if they're obviously turned into the fence on purpose. Like, obvious. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin at Charlotte.
I agree.
Denny Hamlin, or not Denny.
Bubba
and Kyle. Like, those are egregious, like, obvious. Like, there was literally nothing he was trying to do other than in the other guy's day.
Hocevar and the guy from Simpsonville a couple years ago. Colby
Howard.
But he didn't get nothing from that.
If I drive into one super hard, move you up the racetrack and wreck, no penalty, no suspension. The other guy should just get him back the next week if he needs to. But I don't think that NASCAR should be in the business of legislating on-track action. I think once you put those guys in the car, as long as they're not doing stupid stuff trying to get people hurt, which I don't think this was Corey LaJoie doing stupid stuff. I think Corey LaJoie just made a dumb decision, kind of a bad decision. But I don't think it was like, I'm trying to wreck this guy and end his day. I think he was just made a bad move.
What Corey gets saved at also is Kyle Busch did hit the chip. I mean, if Kyle Busch doesn't hit the chip there, then it looks even worse. Yeah. If he just goes through the gears like normal, you know, it gives Corey some benefit of the doubt. Hey, they hit the chip. You know, he lost a little momentum. It wasn't a whole lot, if any, from looking at the onboard camera, the 8 compared to the 14, like I said, in front of him. But he did hit the chip, so that gives Corey a little bit of of leverage in this situation.
Yeah, for sure. But NASCAR's not going to penalize him, nor should he. But if I'm Kyle Busch, Corey LaJoie's getting one back.
Oh, for sure. And Corey shouldn't really have a problem with that. But He probably will.
Yeah, I mean that's
anybody.
That's
NASCAR
just how
driver
drivers
would.
are. But yeah.